Hi, and welcome to the 5th episode of SteamLUG Cast. My name is Cheese. Here with us we have John.
Hello, everyone.
And Swordfisher.
Hi there.
And special guest, Julius Fondurm from Frozenbyte. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
So we've asked Julius to join us and have a bit of a chat about Frozenbyte and their games and Linux support and stuff. So that's pretty good. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thanks. It's fun to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
So you've only recently joined the Frozenbyte team. How are you?
Yes.
How are you finding it?
It's been very nice. It's a very nice office in Helsinki, and the team is very nice, very talented people, and yeah, it's been interesting, a bit hectic and a bit calm at the same time because of summer and people are on vacation and things are moving a bit slower now, but picking up pace once again. People are coming back now. It's been interesting, to say the least.
Are there any particular projects that you're involved with or excited about at the moment, or are you just sort of still settling in?
Yeah, I'm involved in some projects. I'm involved with Splot, naturally. We're working on that as hard as we can. And also some other projects, which unfortunately I can't talk about quite yet.
That's understandable.
But you'll hear about them soon enough.
Yeah, so have you had much of a chance to interact with Frozenbyte's Linux community?
Myself, no, I haven't had that much of a chance yet. I'm very new to it yet. Of course, I have on Facebook and Twitter, there have been people asking about Linux support and whatnot, and some emails, yeah, a little bit, but not that much yet.
What sort of questions have you had so far?
Usually revolving around why don't we have Trine 1 and Shadowgrounds on Steam for Linux?
Yeah.
And does Trine 2 work with Linux? The usual stuff, nothing. And then maybe some bug reports that I might read from fans, but I can't answer myself because I don't know how to solve them. And usually Joel, our vice president, he chimes in.
Yeah, okay. So to ask something completely new and unrelated then, what are the chances of Trine 1 and Shadowgrounds finding their way to Steam for Linux?
Trine 1 is coming to Linux. That is happening. Time frame is still uncertain, but that is happening. Yes. Trine 1
Awesome.
for Steam Linux is coming. With Shadowgrounds, it's a bit unclear. We have to look into it still. And that does relate to our history with Linux, because Trine 1 and the Shadowgrounds games weren't ported by us. It was done by a third party. So, yeah.
That was Alternative Games, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that was them. So we have to look into Shadowgrounds. We'll see.
Well, fingers crossed that that's something that can happen.
Definitely.
Because I know that there's a bit of demand out there for it.
Yeah, we of course want it. I mean, we love the Linux community. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
And I've got a hunch that the Linux community reciprocates that love.
Oh, yes. I mean, Trine 2 is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
And Trine 1. The Trine series is astounding. I remember when I did my review of Trine 1 and then got to play Trine 2, if somebody had said that there was a game that would be more pretty than Trine 1, I would have scoffed and laughed.
We did it.
But somehow you guys achieved that.
Yeah, it's just talented people. That's all I can say, really. Talented artists, talented programmers coming together, and there you go.
Yeah, it's a great team that's there.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly is. And I'm very happy to be a part of that.
So the new website launched recently.
Yes.
Have you had much feedback from that?
It's been positive. Most of the people have liked the sleek and simplified look of it. Yeah, of course we've had some small bugs here and there, but we've mostly squashed them out. And there's still some issues there, and we'll get back to them eventually, of course. But yeah, it's been positive mostly.
Yeah, cool. And my friend worked on that. I'm friends with
Yeah, Johannes. Yes.
Yep.
He did a great job on that, and it was very nice to get a new website because the old one was just horrible. It was so bad.
It was pretty dated.
Yeah, it was really bad, but the new one is very nice, and it makes communicating with fans a lot easier on the site, and just navigating the site is a lot easier for everyone.
Yeah. So do you guys have any plans or thoughts about Valve's upcoming Steambox platform?
Not really at the moment, at least, because everything is still so vague about it. I mean, it sounds interesting, of course, but we don't have the facts, so we can't really make decisions or act on that.
Yeah.
So once we hear the facts, then of course we'll see what it's like. If it's great, we'll email Valve and jump on that, of course.
How's Splot coming along these days? Are we feeling like we're getting closer to a release?
We definitely are, and we're working really, really hard to get it out. It's been in development for almost 6 years now, and we really want to get it out. We really do.
Compared to other titles, do you know what the development time frame for Trine 2 was?
For Trine 2, I think it was about a year and a half, if I recall, or about 2 years or so. I'm not entirely sure. About 2 years.
Wow.
For Trine 2, if I recall.
That's crazy fast.
Yeah, it was something like that. 2 years or so. I'm not entirely sure.
Is that from the start of the project altogether, or was that the Linux port? I think the Linux port was definitely shorter than that.
No, that was the basic game for PC. That's the 2 years. For the Linux
Yeah.
port, probably I'd say about a year. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to check, but
I think it was about 6 months or something before it hit.
yeah, it could be something like that because on the Wii U port, it took about a year for us to do that. But of course, there was added content to that one and a different platform.
That most of that content has now hit PC platforms.
All of that content is now on PC in the complete story. Yes.
I think there were a couple of little Nintendo-specific bits that were excised.
There might be some like very specific Easter eggs, yes, but the Dwarven Caverns levels are there, and Goblin Menace DLC is also there, so pretty much all there.
And what kind of response have you gotten from fans about the Dwarven Caverns content? Because that's kind of new and hadn't been seen before by PC players.
People have liked it. They like the look of it, especially the feel and aesthetics of the Dwarven Caverns. Have gotten some very positive feedback.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you.
John, Sword, did you guys have a chance to play it?
Yeah, I played Trine 2 a bit.
I'll have to play some more next week for our event. It'll be good.
Yeah, August the 2nd, we have the Frozenbyte happening with SteamLUG.
Yes, I'm going to be there, and Guy is from us, marketing manager, is also going to be there. So everyone be there. Let's play and talk. It's going to be fun.
It'd be awesome. So as far as Splot goes, do you think that we're likely to see Linux support from the start?
From the start, it's a bit unclear now, unfortunately, because we're using different technology than for Trine to work on Splot. So it really depends on that technology, how well it supports Linux. We have to look into it. Unfortunately, we're not sure about that, but of course we want to support Linux once again because it's a very viable platform and important to us.
What sort of technologies is Splot sitting on at the moment?
It was Marmalade, I believe, that we're using for it, if I recall.
Okay, that's cool. Are there any other comments or things you'd like to say to the Linux gaming community?
Thank you for your continued support, and we'll get Trine 1 for you guys as we're working on it. We'll get it to you, and just be patient with us. We take our time with things. We want it to be good and work well.
Woohoo!
Do you have any vacant positions at Frozenbyte?
Yeah, I noticed someone asked in the audience. Yeah, we are hiring people kind of constantly. We always see how the person fits into the grand scheme of things in our studio and in general, like where we're at. But yeah, definitely we are hiring right now. So if you're interested, jobs@frozenbyte.com.
So for anybody thinking of applying there, what's the language situation at Frozenbyte? You guys speak a little bit of Finnish? Or you're primarily English?
We're predominantly Finnish, actually. We have one English-speaking employee, Johannes, but it's not a problem because everyone speaks English at the office. That's not a problem. So even if you're an English speaker, apply. There's nothing to lose. I mean, the gaming community in Finland is really good. Everyone basically speaks English in Finland, at least the southern parts. So English, you'll do fine with English in Finland.
Are there any skills you need from people, or?
Well, of course, it depends what you're looking for. If you're an artist, for example, then 3D skills are, of course, something that you need to have for us because we do predominantly 3D games, of course. And if you're a programmer, of course, probably C++ is probably quite important, but I'm not entirely sure about that stuff. I'm not very
Okay.
versed in our recruiting process. But yeah, and if you're into design, then of course you have to somehow show your experience with game design and so on. And we also have a QA department. If you want to get into QA, it's possible with us.
Okay, so you're not searching for anything specific, just the awesome people?
Yeah, awesome people, and we are looking for good 3D. What's the word I'm looking for?
Modelers or animators?
Not model, no, sculptors actually.
Okay.
So that's something that we are looking for at the moment. So if you're a good sculptor, like if you're really good at ZBrush, show us your stuff, and yeah.
Awesome. And before you disappear, I also want to say thank you very much
No,
for
no problem.
the package I received recently.
You're very welcome.
I was blown away. Joel said he'd signed something and you'd asked for my t-shirt size, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna get a t-shirt and a letter. And this massive box rocks up, and it's full of everything. It's mad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speechless at first, and then maybe danced around a little.
Well, you're very welcome, and thanks for your support and activity in our community. We value it very much.
So at some stage, if I can, bring up the motivation to be able to part with one of them, I may give away one of the signed copies of the Trine 2 Complete Edition or is it Complete Edition, or is it the just got the Goblin Menace with it as well? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the complete collection, which has Trine 2 and then the Goblin Menace with it, and I believe digital art book and soundtrack as well.
Nice.
Has that got the Dwarven Cavern stuff with it, or is that just naturally a part of Trine 2 now?
Yeah, it has that with it, yeah.
Yeah, so I might give one of those away as a part of a SteamLUG competition down the track if I can bring myself to part with one of them.
That sounds good. There's someone who knows a Finnish word. Rusty Broomhandle knows a Finnish word, apparently.
Yeah, probably should mention that here.
Rusty's a developer from Screwy Lightbulb.
Okay. Yeah, he knows Perkele.
I don't know any Finnish, but I'm learning a tiny bit.
It's an interesting language, extremely hard.
I'm finding it very interesting so far.
We don't have like any prefixes in our language, so everything is like you just add stuff to the end of the word. Like we don't have in, to, from. We don't have those words. They're just like endings of certain ending to a word.
Yeah, it's a lot of the syntax takes a bit of wrapping your head around, and just general enunciation is exciting as well.
Yeah, I can tell you some interesting facts about our Steam Linux success. Actually, we outsold Mac on copies since February of 2013 on Steam. When it comes to Linux, that is.
That was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when Steam Linux launched in February, I believe it was. So during that time, our Linux version has outsold our Mac version on Steam.
That's great to hear.
And since then, we've sold about 17,000 units of the Linux version.
That's also great to hear.
How many for the competing platforms?
I don't have the numbers for Mac and PC at the moment, unfortunately.
Okay.
Do you know how many Linux sales of Trine 2 you'd had prior to Steam for Linux launching?
No, I don't know. Actually, Trine 2, I don't believe was available for Linux before that.
It wasn't? I thought it was. I can't remember, to be honest.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong here. I'm not sure. But I unfortunately I don't have those numbers.
I ended up running the Windows version via Wine after it came out, so the kind of delay between the Linux version and the Windows version is a little bit fuzzy for me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a tough thing about delayed releases is I kind of I try to be active within the community where I can, but I really had to take a step back to avoid spoilers and things because it wasn't out yet.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I mean, for like the Humble bundle and Steam Linux, I think have helped a lot with that, like getting official Steam ports out.
Yeah, it's definitely helping there, but we still often see very delayed releases, which is is difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that. It's annoying. For the future of Linux for us is in the future we're gonna try to do all the Linux stuff ourselves in house.
Yeah, this was something that came across with my interview with Joel a while back, and I think that's really positive. Like it might be hard for you to gauge, but it sounds like that's opened up doors to more responsive support, to more agile development, as far as getting Linux support out there goes. It seems like it's a positive thing for you guys as well as a positive thing for the community.
People in the comments were saying it was in the Humble store before Steam Linux. That is true. I forgot about that. My apologies.
That's all right. It happens. So we might wrap up the interview portion of the cast on that note.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks very much for joining us, and we're looking forward to having you back again for our Trine 2 event next week.
Yes, next week it's going to be awesome. So once again, guys, if you're interested in working with us, jobs@frozenbyte.com is where you can send an email asking about it, and you can send also an open application with a portfolio and a CV. And as long as you speak English, that's most important. Speaking Finnish is optional.
Cool.
And thanks for the Steam communities, your guys. Linux community support. It's great to see you guys backing our games and being there with us. We really appreciate it.
And likewise, it's really good to see that Frozenbyte is a reliable source of Linux titles.
Yes, we endeavor to do that.
That's a positive thing to have studios that we can be exciting and enthusiastic about who are equally committed to us.
Definitely.
But yeah, all right. As always, welcome to hang around for the rest of the cast. But if you need to disappear,
unfortunately, I do. I would love to, but I need to be going.
That's okay. Well then, yeah. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Alrighty. So moving on to SteamLUG community stuff. Swordfisher, you want to tell us about updates with events?
Yeah. I went on a event spree, as you might call it. I've added a lot of events for August, so everyone should have a chance to join their favorite games at some point during August. I'm looking forward to play with people there.
Yeah, I hope that works well. Kind of awkward time slot for me, but I'll try and join when I can.
Yes, most of the midweek events are European friendly, and not so much Asian, Russian, Australian friendly.
Now we've moved the midweek event regular time up an hour, have we?
Yeah, we have. We moved them from 700 UTC to 1800, UTC, and it seems to work better for us. We have a bit more people joining in because they can get home from work and whatnot.
Well, that's pretty positive. And if there's anyone who wants to see events happen in other time slots, let us know, and we'll organize stuff.
Yeah. Tweet me, message me on IRC or on the forum discussion, anywhere. Then I'll make it happen.
Yep.
John and I have been playing some Dota 2 with some of the SteamLUG guys, and we've set up a Dota 2 guild. And I'm not an active player in Dota. I play it occasionally. But if anyone wants to help manage our guild, please let me know or John, and we will see how to make that happen.
Yep. So the guild already exists, and we're just kind of after active players to help keep it running.
Exactly. And speaking of Dota, we have some test events, bug hunts, you might call it. Someone at Valve asked if they wanted to encourage players to mess up Dota 2 while it was in the test period, which we did. Some of the guys had problems from the beginning and couldn't join the games half the time, so that was giving. Then we had the beta events too, when they released it officially.
So are we going to continue with just normal beta client Dota 2 events, or are we going to continue running some test ones?
Probably not more test of /bug hunts. Just playing for fun.
So the game's feeling pretty solid then?
For some. I didn't have any problems to begin with. Some of the guys had some major issues and had some minor, and it doesn't really feel like it needs the influx of bug reports right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, fingers crossed that the remaining issues get squashed pretty quick.
Yeah, of course.
How did the recent Killing Floor and Half-Life 2 Deathmatch ones events go?
I didn't get a chance to play any of them. I'm sorry. So I wanted to play both of them, but yeah.
Yeah, I missed out as well. Been getting ready for PAX and stuff.
That's what happens. As we mentioned earlier, we have an upcoming event on the 2nd of August with the makers of Trine 2, Frozenbyte. They'll be playing the game with us, and we'll see how we can manage to get as many players play with them and talk with them as possible.
It might be a bit tricky to get lots of people joining because obviously Trine's only 3-player co-op.
Yeah.
And how we're going to work it is that we'll have the Frozenbyte guys on our friends list, and people can join our game, which sort of means that there's only one available slot per game. But we'll still have them here in Mumble to chat with us as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get people dropping in and out of the game, and everybody will get a bit of a chance to play. But everyone should be able to talk here in Mumble as well.
Yeah. And I've asked before, but if anyone has any suggestions to what we can play on the SteamLUG events, please let me know, or some of the other guys from SteamLUG.
Yep. We've had a couple of requests so far.
Yeah. Some of the guys asked for Guns of Icarus, and I'd like to make an event, but in Steam you cannot create an event for a game you don't own.
Now I actually own that one, so I might be able to get the event made for that. So poke me later, and we'll make that happen.
Yeah, sure. Someone, Rake, not someone, suggested a war game, and sure.
And I've had a couple of people suggest that or express that they were sad that they missed out on the previous Kerbal Space Program events. So maybe we should look at doing one or two more of those.
Definitely. I'd like to see more single player events.
Yeah.
Yes, I was hoping to take leadership of the Kerbal Space Program event. We'll just do a bunch of, getting to Mun or something, or maybe further, and we'll just have a good old chat on Mumble as we do it.
Maybe
Sounds great.
Maybe I can buy the game and try to get it to lift the rocket.
I still haven't had a chance to play it. It's way up on my my list of games I would like to play, but I just haven't had time to get to it yet.
Rake mentions that I need to finish Amnesia, and that is true. I'm just a bit of a chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, so how far through have you gotten so far with the previous Amnesia events?
I'm 2 hours in the game. I'm currently stuck under a staircase because I'm afraid.
You suck.
Yeah. But I'll add another event soon and see if I can play an hour more.
Awesome. As far as other community stuff goes, the 7-day first-person shooter challenge, or 70 FPS, is now 2 weeks away. And we've got that thread up for people expressing interest. There's already a few names in there, a few people who've said that they're keen to do something, and over the next week or two we'll start coming up with ideas and seeing what we can put together. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with something interesting. Are either of you guys likely to have time to poke around with that?
I don't think I'm going to, no.
No, probably not. I've got some other stuff I want to finish before start venturing in game development and testing and whatnot.
Fair enough. I went to PAX Australia last week, which was pretty exciting. I got to hang out with a bunch of Australian game developers, wander through the PAX Aussie Indie Showcase and the ANZ Indie Pavilion, and talk to assorted developers there about their games and whether or not they support Linux. It feels like I haven't actually added up the numbers yet, but it feels like about 15% or so of titles there supported or may support Linux, which sounds very small, but I guess when you compare it to the number of Linux versus Windows games on Steam or even Desura, that's pretty good percentage, I guess. Of particular interest to me is a game called Assault Android Cactus, which is a sort of 3D co-op bullet hell game where you play as androids and you fight other robot thingies. It's kind of exciting. And I have also been pretty excited about a game called Wander, which is still heavily in development, but it's meant to be a multiplayer exploration game, this sort of fantasy setting, and non-combative type thing. I'm kind of really interested in this sort of more social and more exploration-oriented gameplay, so that's kind of exciting for me for that reason. They're also just adding Rift support to their Linux client as well, which is also exciting for me because I have one. So yeah, it was good to be there. And nobody laughed in my face when I asked about Linux this time, so that was good.
We're making progress.
Yeah, I there was an exhibition held in Melbourne last year, where the makers of a game laughed in my face when I said Linux support. He asked if they were interested, and then when they realised I was serious, they said, "Oh no, not at this time." So it was slightly disheartening.
But Linux is for elitist hackers,
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, no, it was good, and it was positive, and I also talked to people who were kind of interested in supporting Linux but didn't really know how to go about it, so I was able to make some suggestions about where they could go looking for information, who they might want to talk to, other sorts of helpful information. But I did feel a little bit alone as a Linux gamer there. I didn't come across anybody else who was excited about Linux stuff as far as attendees went. But there were, like 35,000 people a day, so it was difficult to meet everyone. There may have been other people floating around, I just didn't get to bump into them.
I might have missed it earlier. Did you mention the Double Fine barbecue at all?
No, I was just going to come to that as well. So at PAX, I sort of figured we don't have many of these sort of big gaming-oriented events in Australia, and I thought that since so many people were coming together into one spot, that it would be a good opportunity to have a Double Fine fan meetup. And I approached keynote speaker Ron Gilbert, and who worked on The Cave with Double Fine, and he said he would like to join. So we decided we'd have a sort of traditional Australian midwinter barbecue. It ended up raining, so it was very authentic. We had over 30 people join us, which was really nice. I didn't get a lot of a chance to sort of really touch base with everyone. I was kind of just running around and making sure that everybody was feeling comfortable and that the ice was broken and people weren't too shy. So just kind of flitting here and there, but it seemed like everybody was really happy, and it was really great to bring people together. I made a little website that sort of shows what went on, and the Double Fine guys recorded a special greeting video for us, which was nice. So yeah, it was really positive. I hope to do more of that sort of thing soon. And to answer any questions, we didn't put any shrimp on any barbies. Only idiots barbecue prawns. I don't understand why that's a thing. Thank you, Paul Hogan.
Nice.
And over the past what would we say, week or so, I guess.
Yeah.
Meklu and Swordfisher, and myself a little bit have been.
Yeah, and John too.
And John, I guess. Have you been poking around with stuff?
Yeah, we've all been working on it.
All been doing little tweaks on the website. Kind of people may have noticed that we've revamped the main menu. We're looking at we have put in some extra automation for to make maintaining the site a bit easier for us. We've got a few bits and pieces in the back end being worked on. We're working on Steam login integration, which will hopefully open up the door for a few more interactive bits and pieces, which is good. Swordfisher migrated us to a new mechanism for keeping track of server status, so now we're able to add more games.
Yeah, we can now have Killing Floor servers and other non-source based servers on our list, so that's nice.
Yeah, and that's using Game Queue. So if you've got any servers you'd like to, offer up to link with SteamLUG, we'll see if we can sort that out.
Now, on that note, I think we're in the process of bringing some Russian servers on board. Is that right?
Yeah, we just got a Russian server from Skyplay, which is fairly active at the moment, so you can see it on the website.
And what games do we have up on those at the moment?
Currently, Counter-Strike Source, a deathmatch mod. Playing vanilla is so 2010,
Should we move on?
Yeah.
Right. Over the last fortnight, Dota 2 has probably been the busiest activity in Steam for Linux, and Mac too, but we don't really want to mention them. The clients had quite a few updates, and if you're on the beta update track, then you'll have seen two noticeably large bug fixes. It will no longer crash playing videos if you're on AMD hardware, on certain AMD hardware, that is.
Well, that will help.
Yep, and the marketplace no longer inverts, checkboxes.
It's all so sad. Everybody's really sad about that.
Yeah, it just happened right before the Steam Summer Sale. But yeah, if you're not on the beta update channel, I would suggest you do that, because the client has fixed quite a few bugs.
And we now have a Dota 2 channel here in SteamLUG as well. If anybody wants to make use of that while playing, feel free. And Swordfisher, you're likely to be away for the next cast episode.
Yeah. I apparently have something to do other than SteamLUG.
What?
Yeah.
Is it Secret Saturday?
Maybe. Yeah, moving on.
So, with Swordfisher away, Mim says she might fill in, so that'll be nice to have her on.
Awesome. Who is Mim?
Mim is my lovely partner who runs Two Loft Bees with me. She's a Linux gamer as well, has joined us for many of our SteamLUG events.
Yep, mostly the TF2 ones, and she's repeatedly killing me.
Yeah, that's her job. She loves hats, so she's asleep at the moment. She doesn't normally like to get up for the casts, but hopefully we'll be able to coax her out of bed in time for the next episode.
I know you guys aren't very happy with the Steam cards, but Beat Hazard Ultra, which is on Linux and Steam on Linux, recently got cards added, and the great thing about this is that if you have the foil badge, you will receive a special spaceship in-game, and if you have a level 5 ordinary badge, you will get another crazy spaceship.
Amazing.
Level 5, that's... I don't know.
That's easy.
I have to say, I kind of like the idea of tying card and badge stuff back into the game itself, so that you get some value in the game from this stuff. I really don't like the way that for most of the other titles that have card support, that there really is no penetration into the game itself, that it's all completely unrelated.
Well, you do get some concept art by collecting the badges, but that's it. And
yeah, I think I just would appreciate it if it was a level 1 thing rather than level 5. Level 5 is pretty hard to obtain unless you're quite happy to spend for it, and that grates me a little. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I have to say I don't know much about the the badge levels is 5 as high as you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I hope that we will see more games offering in-game stuff for card things. I think that's what it would take to get me interested.
It would be nice if, quite a few games sort of have crossover characters sort of turning up, like TF2 characters pop into other things. It would be nice if that was tied to level 1 badges, so that if you had a level 1 TF2 badge, you would get extra characters in other games, and vice versa.
That would reward people who were, people who were interested in TF2. If they were really into it.
Yeah, exactly.
They get cards for their playtime and get a TF2 experience elsewhere as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. So there are a batch of new Greenlight titles or successful Greenlight titles were announced recently.
Yeah.
Chasm.
And we have a number of links. Yeah, Chasm. I'm excited.
There's only one game that interested me, and that's Operation Black Mesa. I'm really looking forward to that.
Now, this is completely different from Black Mesa, isn't it? It's an Op4 reimagining, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty nice.
So it is a complete reimagining of Half-Life 1, is it? Or
no, Opposing Force was Half-Life 1 mod.
Oh, I see. Okay, Opposing Force.
Yeah. I wonder if any community group is making the orange. No, what colour was it? Blue. Oh, Blue Shift, that was it.
Yeah, Blue Shift. Yeah.
Has anyone made a Blue Shift mod? First source?
I have seen it somewhere.
Oh, I hope they're on Greenlight then.
It is.
Excellent.
But we're still missing Counter-Strike Condition Zero deleted scenes.
Yes, we are. But we do have Dota 2. And I think, well, both myself and Swordfisher have been playing quite a bit of it because we've been playing with quite a few of the community members. I've managed to rack up a whole 24 hours of game time in it since it launched on the official beta, not the test version.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. It's good that we don't have that beta confusion like we do with Left 4 Dead.
It's still a bit confusing because some of the fixes are currently going into the test version, whereas we're waiting for them to go into the beta version. So
yeah, but it's still clear to people who are already playing Dota 2 in Wine, for example, because that test and normal client distinction already existed.
Yeah.
Maybe Valve should just use unstable and testing and stable.
That might work a bit better.
From a Linux user's point of view, that would make sense.
Yeah, it's tough in that the beta term, as far as it's being used in Dota 2. I mean, where does that fit in a stable unstable testing thing? It feels like that is entirely separate from the Dota 2 and Dota 2 test, or Left 4 Dead 2 and Left 4 Dead 2 beta situation, where there's a concurrent ongoing testbed for new game features and content for all platforms. That was possibly a bit too rambly. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it is something that hopefully will be addressed at some stage, because it's super confusing for a lot of people.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, then you have the if you right click the game and properties and beta and select a beta in there.
Yeah, that too. That also.
That's a surprising thing. I think quite a lot of Steam gamers are used to opting into betas that way. So, yeah, I don't really know the logistics and whether it's just different teams working on it all.
But that's alright. I mean, we're kind of getting by at the moment, I guess.
I just install everything and click on everything, so worked for me.
So, as far as general gaming news stuff goes, normally before we start this segment, we run through and talk about what we've been playing over the past fortnight. What have you guys been up to?
Well, I've been playing Awesome Notes for a bit, and Strike Suit Zero, because it had an update where the graphical glitches should be removed, and it seemed to work for me.
Yeah, cool.
It's a great game if you're into Gundam-ish games.
I haven't really looked into it much. I should check it out. It sounds kind of interesting.
Well, it's flat Dota, really. I've been in the Strike Suit Zero beta, just flying around doing the tutorial and bits and bobs, and giving them some feedback. As we mentioned earlier, a couple of games got new trading cards, so I went back into Aversion for a bit, and KSP. And then I've also been playing Rush and Toki-Tori, because they've recently been added to Steam for Linux.
Yeah, it's great to see those titles appear. It feels like that's in part thanks to the community's response to their requests for Linux support. They've been pretty open about that, and hopefully we'll see Toki-Tori 2 at some stage soon.
Yes, certainly hoping. And the ports are good.
Yeah, they were done by Ed, I think.
Does it have a last name?
Rudd.
That's out of order.
Or Urkel, depending upon where you're coming across him.
Oh, okay.
I kind of like Urkel. So what have you been playing, Cheese?
Yeah. I've been playing Faster Than Light because I was traveling. Didn't want to play anything that would be too battery intensive. So on planes and in hostels and things, I sort of cranked some Faster Than Light, and managed to have a few good runs. I managed to make my first victory with the Kestrel, which was nice.
Oh, very nice. What difficulty setting was that?
Easy.
Oh, that's okay, man. I mean, I've completed it once on normal, and I feel really pumped about it. But many times on easy.
I'm going to finish with every ship before I move over to normal, I think. I'm finding the Zoltan ship is kind of hard to do. I managed to get up to the flagship, and I'd kept a whole, I had 50 missiles and a missile launcher, an Artemis set aside that I was going to equip for the final battle. And then completely forgot about it and was toasted because I couldn't get through their shields.
Wow. No, it's so unfortunate to get right to that. Can we discuss it, or spoilers? Or I mean, that boss battle, and you defeat the first stage, you get to the second stage, and then you're destroyed, and that's so frustrating.
Yeah, it was actually the second stage that I got to there.
But yeah, Sword's poking me to move it on. So do you want to skip on to general news?
Yeah, so Wine 1.6 was released a few days ago. It was this week, wasn't it?
Yeah, certainly.
Again, it seems like most of the new features have been, a lot of the focus of the 1.6 release, which we've been talking about the RCs of, has been Mac support. So not a huge amount for Linux users, but there are upgrades to, they're using the new Mono package now to provide better .NET support. It's good to see another significant release come out. I haven't had a chance to upgrade and play with it myself yet, but the main notable features for the 1.6 branch seem like they should be helpful for a lot of players, and the number of individual fixes is sort of, I think, somewhere around the 10,000 mark. That's pretty impressive, I think.
OpenGL 4.4 just got announced. It's been pushed. NVIDIA updated their beta drivers to 4.4 as well. So we're pretty much ahead of any other operating system, which is nice.
Fantastic. Has you guys had a chance to play around with this new NVIDIA beta driver?
Nope.
No, I'm just on the one just before it. 3.25 point something. But I mean, nothing's going to use 4.4 for a year or two. I wouldn't have expected, so but it's great.
Yeah, it's good to have there, and it's nice that that we're sort of on the forefront of new stuff there. So earlier this week, there was a post in the Interwave forums about Nuclear Dawn that made it sound like it wasn't likely to be happening, and a few of us got together to try and encourage the community to voice support for Nuclear Dawn's port, and it seems that since that those comments that indicated that it might not happen have gone away or been edited, and there's since been a post which attempts to clarify things, saying that they haven't given up on Linux support, so that's still a possibility.
What's the actual issue? I heard it was they're waiting on an update to source from Valve. Is that right?
That's what they're saying, yeah. So we're kind of having a bit of a chat with them and seeing if we can clear up exactly what's going on and maybe help things move forward. It's still kind of unclear what's going on. They sound like they're keen to continue investigating what's going on, and hopefully we'll see some forward progress there soon.
Yep, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and it was good to see a comparatively big reaction to that, because they did mention that it was the community's response that had a bit of influence there. But I have to say I'm kind of disappointed that there were a couple of people being a little bit negative there, and I think that the idea is really to show that we're nice people who deserve support rather than be awfully cranky.
Well, yeah.
But I have to say I can totally understand and relate to anybody who's frustrated by a what seems to be a backpedaling after what sounded like a commit to doing Linux support.
Absolutely. It kind of all comes down to pre-ordering, really. If a developer says they're likely to have something in the future, it's really hard to tell people, tell them that you're interested in buying it, but don't buy it just yet, because it may not happen, and then you'll get frustrated, and you don't want to be that person that has to ask for your money back, and because
it's tough. I mean, if you need to ask for your money back, I mean, there are definitely ways that you can do it politely, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, you politely post and say, that's disappointing, I shall get my money back. Just quietly say that, not being mean, and then just contact Steam support or however you got it, and yeah.
Yeah. But it's also important to communicate this stuff to developers as well. And hopefully we will see more. We'll see. Hopefully, as time moves on, that we'll see people being more open with the level of commitment that they have, and more informed when making decisions about whether or not they will support Linux. But fingers crossed that things move forward in a positive manner there. Yeah.
Here's hoping.
And there was something about Worms Reloaded.
Yeah, the SteamDB site has revealed that there are Linux depots that are up there at the moment, suggesting that there's a Linux port in the works that's being tested.
Yep, it does look like they've been adding private depots for it.
So as a Worms fan, I'm pretty excited by this. I haven't had a chance to try and touch base with the Team 17 guys, but I've always been a fan of their games. So it'll be be good to see whether or not they're keen to get serious about Linux support. I have my fingers crossed. Do either of you guys play it? It works okay in Wine.
I very rarely touch Wine nowadays.
Yeah, I have to say I haven't fired it up for ages.
I did pop into it for playing Walking Dead the other day, though.
Yeah.
Just because people keep not spoiling the ending, but hinting at it, and I just because I'd got it in one of the Humble Bundles, I just thought, well, I'll just get around to playing it now.
Yeah. Is it possible to spoil a game that is so predictable?
Yes.
Okay.
You can. The thing is, it's easy saying that you can guess the ending, but it's the twist and turns through the story that you don't want spoiled either, and it's not always. Okay.
That's all right. I think that game's okay, but I find it to be horrendously overrated.
I think the same.
I find it slow and plodding and fairly 2D as far as characters go. It's it's not bad.
I thought the branching storyline was 2D, compared to a game like Heavy Rain that I've played through about 8 different times and got completely different stories, I was rather upset that the first major thing that happened in Walking Dead happens the exact same way, whichever choice you make. It's really frustrating.
That very first decision does have, well, hang on. Is that the first major decision that it's obvious that you're making a decision, or the first decision that you make?
It's not the first decision you make. I don't want to spoil it, you see, for all the listeners.
Yeah, I'm trying to skid around the specifics as well.
It would involve a tractor.
Yeah. So that does have implications that reach into the following episode, and that's more about how characters feel about you. It seems like they've got a little point system where characters have this kind of scale of whether they like you or not, and there are things you can do to make them dislike you, or things to make them like you, and that has significant impact on a couple of characters, the way that they perceive you. But ultimately, that itself doesn't have a lot of impact on the way the story progresses.
Yeah.
Have you finished the entire thing?
No, I haven't. As I was just trying to say, I have actually played episode 1. I got it free on PSN a while back. So I'm just catching up to where I was there, and then I'll continue on through the episodes.
Okay. Well, I hope you find it interesting, at least.
I certainly will. Right, shall we move on?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll talk about Raven then.
Yeah, so new kind of adventure gamey mystery game has hit Steam for Linux. I can't remember when it was actually released. It was brought to my attention outside of SteamLUG, because we're considering doing it for the Double Fine Game Club. So yeah, I only became aware of it in the past few days.
Same here actually.
But it looks really polished and has high production values. It looks pretty neat.
Yeah. So
on to crowdfunding stuff. We mentioned Lacuna Passage last time, which hit its funding target last night. So that's nice. It's got I think 4 days left.
They don't have any stretch goals at all.
To reach all their stretch goals, they need to more than quadruple.
Ouch.
Their number. I don't know. They're at 42 grand. They're doing a developer commentary. At 47, they're doing additional voice acting, live music, enhanced Oculus Rift integration, improved terrain and environment. Sounds interesting, but in the pitch vid, they said that they were using, I think, Mars Global Surveyor data for generating terrain. So
oh, really?
Sounds like it's going to be pretty neat anyway. And at 100,000, they're going to go for a larger explorable game world. But I imagine that regardless of stretch goals, they're going to do what they can.
Yeah. Developer commentary is always nice. And at least that's not too far away from.
I would imagine that would happen. Yeah. Additional voice acting might be interesting as well. As long as it sort of supports that kind of isolated, lonely aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it still has 5 days to go, sorry.
Okay.
I've slept in the meantime, so I kind of decremented that automatically.
A game I brought up a few episodes ago, Satellite Rain, has been fully funded. This is the sort of...
Yeah, that's exciting.
Syndicate Wars, Syndicate revival, and I'm really excited for it.
They have been pumping out updates like a couple of weeks. It's been pretty cool to follow along with.
Well, have you seen the new videos they've put up? I mean, the lighting looks even better.
I have not had a chance to watch any of their videos, so I will make sure to check them out.
If you've got time, click on the link in the show notes, and go have fun.
I will. I'll also read through in detail all of the previous updates when I have time as well.
Okay, shall we move on to Maker's Eden now?
Yes.
Yeah, so their Indiegogo campaign is over. We have Rusty in the chat with us at the moment. I don't know if he's active at the moment, but yeah, they're continuing with development and moving ahead with stuff. They got half of what they were asking for, but they're still moving ahead.
Nice.
And it's nice to see that developers keep continuing their project even though they don't get funded.
Yeah, and Rusty says that they're okay. They're happy with what they've got. So that's positive as well.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how things move forward. I know I would probably be comfortable contributing again down the track.
Yeah.
If needed.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, one of the nicest things about Indiegogo, isn't it? That you don't need a full fund to still retain everyone's donations.
So Rusty tells us that the money that they've raised is covering a month of full-time development and is allowing them to proceed forward with some of the more difficult aspects of the game's development. So that's really positive.
Yep, it's great news. The guys in the channel, they've pointed out they'd like us to mention Ubuntu Edge. Yeah.
What's that?
It's a phone by Canonical.
Ah. Two things I'm not likely to talk about, but that's okay. You guys go ahead.
No, I'm not that interested in it either, really. Sadly,
I think it's a $32 million con job, as Ray mentioned.
Topical.
Yeah.
I know nothing, so I'm going to keep quiet.
I don't know. I'm not that impressed with Ubuntu really doing it. That's all.
Well, I tried out the Ubuntu phone for my Nexus phone. And I was greatly disappointed at the interface and the entire thing.
So is this just an OS?
No,
it's the actual hardware.
Yeah.
They've kind of got the OS already. They're trying to design a new phone. I don't really know why.
Is it noteworthy in any respect?
It could be. I mean, it's angular.
Oh, wow.
Rather than sort of square-edged or really smooth, it's got like a 45-degree bevel on it.
Well, that does make it amazing.
And it doesn't have a home button, which is a selling point, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, they're certainly pushing the envelope there.
Well, I can understand sort of removing all the bevels and, keeping it basically just the screen. But then it all comes down to how good the software is, and we'll have to see, really, how good that's going to become.
I don't know. I find touch devices slightly irritating. I'm very interested in tactile stuff. I touch type, and when I had a phone, I did touch typing on that as well because I don't want to look where I'm typing. I want to be able to dial numbers without looking at them and stuff.
Wow. Do you have a keyboard phone at all? Or?
I don't have a phone at all anymore.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Do you have a tablet at all? Or?
No, I got rid of it. Nope.
So just a MacBook?
MacBook Air is what I'm running, and hopefully I'll be getting Linux onto that soon.
Nice.
Fair enough.
But if I'm out and about, I want to be able to work. So a proper laptop is sort of really where I want to be.
So the last thing on our spreadsheet here, the Leech Linux target has been met.
Yep, this news popped today.
And why is it so good?
I was interested that so many news sites were reporting that Leech has been confirmed for PS4, Vita, Wii, and Linux. And that went to all the news sites. The fact that we're on that level impressed me. That was all. That we're no longer so niche that we sort of get forgotten at the end of, and it's also coming to. I mean, now we tend to be in the first paragraph rather than the last one. That was all. And the game is pretty good looking.
Well, that's cool. If mainstream news outlets are focusing on Linux as being an equally viable platform, then that is super awesome. That is a big hurdle that we have been needing to cross for a long time.
Yep, certainly. And a couple of gaming news sites recently have changed from saying PC to at least Windows PC, which I think is another, changes are happening.
Yeah, it is great to see that we are getting more awareness in mainstream media. That's really positive.
It's Coda Games, the maker of Leech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, one last thing that I might mention before we wrap up. Assault Android Cactus, which I mentioned earlier, and I caught up with the the developers at PAX is currently on greenlight and needs a bit of support. So if anybody is interested in a sort of Linux-compatible local 4-player co-op bullet hell game with all-female protagonists, feel free to hop on and support that one.
All female?
I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
How come?
Well, as female as robots can get.
I mean, does...
I asked them whether or not that was intentional, whether that was something they were originally intending to aim for, and it sounds like it wasn't. It was just that was how their character concepts turned out, and they went with it. So that's kind of really positive.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's positive. I'm kind of impressed that it wasn't we want to make a game with girls. That it was we're keen to make a game, and all of our character concepts that we liked turned out to be girls, and we're going that direction. So it's cool. Alrighty, well, thanks guys, and thanks to everyone for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Yes, thanks for listening to SteamLUG Cast. Join us next time.
Bye.